You know, Thailand is gay now for the first time. You know, Thailand, famous for not having been gay before, is now finally gay.
Yes.
Wow, what sickeningly handsome men. They really found the two hottest guys in the entire country to be gay next to each other for the purposes of repping this. I guess that makes sense from an optics perspective, right? Like no one's this hot normally. This is like an abnormally hot couple, like very abnormally. And then it's like, yeah, we got to bring those guys to the forefront. Da, 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 da.
The first thing is yes.
Because finally, we feel like overwhelmed.
After Taiwan and Nepal to allow same-sex marriage. Thailand has had a complicated relationship with queer people for a while, I think. Full financial and medical rights for marriage partners of any gender. That's nice. The bill needs to be endorsed by the king, and then will come into law within 120 days. The king is like a heavily tattooed, you know, like layabout degen, so I don't think he's going to put a stop to this. Yeah, the king is super gay. You seen the photos of him? I think it'll be fine. Also, there's going to be like massive public pushback if he votes no on this, so, you know. Compared to us, I'd say so, Flevier. At least it's different to us, you know? Loads of kings are gay. I would say all, I would say that all forms of monarchy are gay, personally. Isn't the country south of Thailand like extreme Muslim law? What do you, south of Thailand? What are you referring to? Wasn't he also the guy with the skinny pants and the flat ass? Yes. Yeah, I don't know if they, Malaysia, Indonesia, what's south? What does that have to do with anything, though? Ain't Malaysia in here, mother.
Going to marriage, come to join our wedding.
Thailand's Senate has voted overwhelmingly to approve a bill that would legalize same-sex marriage. This clears the last legislative hurdle for the country to become the first in Southeast Asia to enact such a law.
Doesn't bad-mouthing the king get you in major shit in Thailand? Yeah, I mean, it's a king. It's like a real king, kind of. Though I think in practice, the king is more or less like the mouthpiece of Thailand's military. Well, wait, no. I shouldn't say that. Kind of, right? Like, they're not a military junta. They have, like, a real legislature, but the military definitely, like... The military junta is kind of like the broader executive branch for which the king is the representative. Do I have that correctly? Like, it's not like a full military junta where there's basically no democratic process. It's just they're kind of the functional executive branch with the king at the top. Vosh, do you actually know anything about Thailand, or are you talking out your ass here? What are you being mean to me for? I'm asking a question. I think I'm correct on this. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What do you mean? What am I talking out my ass on? Basically, yeah, okay, all right.
The bill passed its final reading with the approval of 130 of the 152 members of the Senate in attendance, with 4 voting against it and 18 abstaining. The bill now needs the endorsement of the king.
More glorious Western hegemony, as over in Thailand, they're using the modern intersex inclusive black and indigenous bi-POC trans gay flag that we use. Which cool, you know, whatever. Our arms link across the world. We're touching tips all around the world.
Now, Thailand will become the 3rd place in Asia after Taiwan and Nepal to allow same-sex marriage.
Woke. You couldn't get away with looking this woke in our Congress, you know? Wait, does Japan and South Korea not allow it? No, gay marriage is banned in both Japan and South Korea. Change the lives of the LGBTQ community. As an 18-year-old non-binary youth, this is an important step for society. And for our future children. Oh.
I think we faces a lot of challenge, included some kind of hate crime, as the law do not protect our family. But then look at now, we have support from the parliament, from the Senate that passed this law. That means we are now protected by law. My wife and my daughters, who are stand side by side with me, we are now, achieve this law together, and she will legally adopt after this. And we want to use this opportunity not only celebration our marriage status, but also to advocate and sending the message to all of our LGBTIQ community in Thailand and beyond that we are together and love finally wins.
That's really sweet. That's real cute. Remember, the massive, seemingly sudden tide of support for gay marriage all around the world is almost entirely because of the internet. Once basically everybody got online, it was impossible. Like the whole strategy globally for suppressing queer people has always been to force them in the closet and punish them if they don't, right? To keep them invisible. But then you have the internet and it's like, wait, hold on. Like a ton of people are gay or whatever. It's the same with trans people. Like, hold on. It's actually incredibly common, like everywhere all the time. And you can't hide that online. So that's what's led to this massive wave. You've always been here. Unless you block access to the internet. I mean, kind of, but even then that only goes so far, right? Like, even in areas where there's like various levels of extensive internet censorship, like China, Russia, or even like North Korea, like there are subcultures there that have flourished because of the internet. There are plenty of visibly queer people in China, even as the government tries to like re-suppress them by cracking down on Western influence on the internet or by banning feminine men from TV or whatever. They're still there, you know? The dynamic has shifted. The dialectic has advanced one notch forward, you know? Nodding sagely, so it was Yowie. I mean, to an extent, yes, that was a part of it, you know? The, like, massive wave of highly visible queer pornography online definitely did a lot to motivate people to sort of, I don't know, see it as a normalized feature of the human experience. I mean, never forget, man, hold on. Pew Research, gay marriage approval. Over here in the United States, this is still like, where is the one from America? Give me the right one. Give me the right one. Even back to 2007. 2007! That's the year the game BioShock came out. 37% in favor of same-sex marriage, 54% opposed. And in one decade, the numbers more than shifted. 37% in favor, up to 62%, 54% opposed, down to 32%. And this chart only ends in 2017. I mean, this doesn't even go up to the current. We have a bit of a stall the past 2 years, but now it's even further. Yeah, now it's not even BioShock, it's gender shock. Exactly. It's crazy. BioShock made people gay. That's true. All right, dial it down, Appalachian anarchist. Nobody cares. How people around the world view same-sex marriage. Look at how much more progressive Canada is on the subject. Sweden, Netherlands, Spain, France, Germany, the UK, Italy, Greece. Even in Italy. Italy, currently the Mussolini country, you know? UK and Italy, 74 and 73% favorable. Greece is 48. Poland is 41, not surprising. Hungary is 31, not surprising. Australia, Japan. In Japan, by the way, there's massive public support for allowing gay marriage. It's just they're kind of because of their conservative government and constitution. Vietnam, Thailand, Hong Kong, Cambodia. I wouldn't have guessed it with Cambodia, you know? Cambodia, not typically a nation that I think of when I think of, like, legalizing gay marriage. India, too? 53% versus 43% in India? Lamau, look at Israel. Hello, Israel. A vanguard of LGBT equality in the Middle East, most progressive country in the world, greatest ally of the United States, most effective fighting force of the entire world. Hello, hello, hello. Jackasses. Yeah, I get that, Masagui. Like many things, it's our fault. You think the gay marriage flip is a canary in the coal mine for other potential progressive causes gaining more traction in the future? Yeah, I do. Because once you accept that it's not as simple as like, if you're born with a penis, that means you have to love somebody with a vagina, which has always been an incredibly stupid, low IQ, reductive, and inaccurate way of how human love, romance, relationship, family dynamics work. It's not even historically accurate. That's not how it was for all time, like at all. It's like such a, it's an imposed dynamic. Keep in mind that like a lot of the modern homophobia that you see in countries like, say, the Philippines was imposed by like Spanish colonizers, you know, spreading a Catholic hate of homosexuality. It's not like the world got made homogenous in our image. It wasn't like that forever at all times. You know, various pagan cultures had varying attitudes towards this kind of stuff. It's, what are you going to do? Sometimes people with dicks want to be railed in the ass. Like, it's been known to happen, folks. Go to Cap Hill. You see it. You've all seen it. Go online. It's there. It's a real part of humanity. Once you accept that, you know, it's not that simple. A lot of other stuff falls into place. I will say, it might be a little while before Indonesia, Kenya, and Nigeria fall, from before they meet the light of heaven. I'll say that much. 92 against in Indonesia, 97 against in Nigeria. My God. You can fill that blank in yourself, Cygenial, okay? My job is to present the information. My job is not to holistically describe all human sexual and romantic experiences in one sentence. I have to breathe eventually. Lula is forcing people to be gay in Brazil. That's true. Outside the picture, armed guards stand ready to intervene if the kissing stops. That's true. Love is just chemicals? Thank you, Rick Sanchez, for your opinion on the subject. Man, you gotta imagine that the 3% saying yes to the pollster is a gay person taking a huge risk. I mean, in Nigeria, I feel like I wouldn't trust disclosing my support of gay people in any environment there, right? Like, that's got to be really risky, you know? Skynet, you were spamming this last stream. Do you think I don't remember? Boko Haram is Nigeria, right? Boko Haram's in a lot of places, not just Nigeria. And I wouldn't really blame homophobia in Nigeria on Boko Haram. I don't think the pollsters were asking Boko Haram, like, militants, their opinion on the subject. Also, Islam has always had more a stance of hate the sin, not the sinner attitude. Well, Umtik, you know, not to propagate any colonial Western attitudes on the subject, but I gotta say, based on my understanding of a lot of Muslim majority countries, I think they hate the sinner too sometimes. Not much consistency in doctrine, you know? In practice, there is actually no such thing as hate the sin, love the sinner. It's not real, especially when the sin is a core part of a person's identity. It's not actually a real thing. It's totally made up. Just a pissy bullshit way of avoiding responsibility for being hateful. Do you think there might be some amount of correlation between long, cold winters and loving anyone available? No. What I do think, though, is that for a wide variety of historical reasons, the countries that are closer to the equatorial belt were more subject to colonialism, which contributes to instability that leads to a wide variety of reactionary social forces sort of taking root, you know? I understand the question, though. Why is it exactly that countries that are further north or south seem to be less reactionary than countries closer to the equatorial belt? Maybe being hot all the time makes you cranky. That would work on me. Would I be homophobic if I had to live in, I don't know, Nigeria when it's that hot? Maybe. Probably. I mean, I'm homophobic now, and it's like pretty temperate in Seattle. What about Thailand versus Japan, then? Well, that's an easy comparison because Japan being conservative in the way that it is now is literally a direct consequence of how we ran their post-war government, you know, imposing our values and our ideas into their constitution. We did some good. I'm not saying the Japanese empire isn't like at fault there, because they are, but there is a reason why their government is in the kind of like conservative gridlock that it is today. Also, South Korea, you wonder why they're conservative? They had a fascist military dictatorship that we backed up until when? How long did that last? What was it, till the 80s? You know? 70s? 86? At some point in time. Spain and Portugal also had fascist dictatorships recently, and they're pretty progressive. Well, I think the circumstances matter here, you know? You can take a look. I think that it often works to look at this from an economic lens, right? Like, what material incentives, what pressures might lead certain countries in certain directions. Usually homophobia and other forms of militant reactionary thought are about stability and influence, right? Who are you appealing to? What influences are you trying to impose or sort of like ostracize? What are you trying to build, basically, you know? And you can talk about Confucianism. You can talk about like the fact that Spain and Portugal both kind of like rose out of their respective dictatorships in West Europe, like right next to France and like a relatively progressive bastion of the world, whereas South Korea and Japan are like right up against North Korea and China, which are like, you know, immediate foreign threats that justify, at least in their minds, some degree of reactionary, you know, defensive posturing that tends to facilitate reactionary thought, that kind of stuff, you know? There's a lot, yeah, a lot of context that gets built into it, you know? Vosh had 450K, now it's 449K. Was there a clipping moment I missed, Lamount? Yes, but also why you got to bring it up, man? What are you doing? Like hey, like knocks on door loudly. In your controversy-ridden, highly fluctuating like public image, you know, I noticed a downturn. Would you like to talk about it? You can look it up, man. Just about every Western colony is anti-LGBTQ. Well, there's a reason for that, and usually it's because like the people there get sick of colonizers, and as a consequence, there's a big push towards a reactionary nationalist force that pushes out the colonizers, and those people tend to be really reactionary. Look at the EFF in South Africa. They're the most aggressively anti-colonizer in the sense that they hate white people, and there's a ton of reactionary sentiment that propagates in their party. Look at what happened in India, right? Look at what happened in like large swaths of Latin America. Sometimes the people pushing back against the colonizers are like principled socialist agitators, and sometimes they're just like militant. Like, look at what happened in Iran. The EFF are pre-gay. You mean pro-gay? Yeah, I'm sorry. The EFF are pretty good when it comes to queer people, but they're pretty bad when it comes to other race issues, like Indians, for example. So I'm talking reactionary sentiment broadly, but yeah, it varies. Is there an address for where the canvassing is? If you hit !PV, you can go sign up and look at the details. Do former colonies see LGBTQ as a white people thing? Yes, a lot of them do. A lot of there's a big sentiment in parts of Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. The idea that queer people are like a degenerate disease propagated by white people or Westerners or colonizers or infidels or whatever else. All the words mean the same thing to them, outsiders, basically. It's a common sentiment, you know. Sometimes you see so-called leftists say this. Yeah, like Luna Oi.